Good day and welcome back to Young Farmer. I am your host Tashlyn Lowe, where we sit down with young farmers who are taking the farming industry by storm. Today we are in conversation with Scelo Simelane, a 19-year-old all the way from Mpumalanga. Scelo, welcome. It is so amazing to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. Please tell us more about yourself. Who is Scelo?
Alright, so Scelo Simelane is a social media influencer, entrepreneur, as well as a full-time student. I'm all the way from Balfour in Mpumalanga, currently studying a BA General at the University of the Witwatersrand, and I'm also running my own farm.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that intro. So many exciting things that you are about. My favorite definitely being in farming, obviously, so we're going to jump right into that. Please talk us through your farm. How big is it? What do you guys supply? What are you growing? Crops, animals? What is happening on Scelo's farm?
Alright, so I'm a commercial farmer. We currently have two farms. The first farm is 715 hectares. The second one is 54 hectares. We work with a little bit of everything. We have livestock, we have feld crops, we have cash crops. We also have a butchery on the farm as well. And we currently have, during peak season, we have 48 employees. And then, yes, that's it.
Oh, lovely. Big, growing, stable farm for the people out there who want to get the supply from Scelo. I love that. Tell me, Scelo, what inspired you to become a farmer and how did you embark on this journey?
Right, so what inspired me was actually my dad. My dad grew up in the agriculture space, and my granddad also grew up in the agriculture space, and my great-granddad also grew up in the agriculture space. So it's all these people that came before me, and then I just found myself in the agriculture space as well in 2021 when we relocated from Secunda to Balfour, and now we lived on a farm, and yeah.
That's how you got into it.
Into agriculture.
Lovely. When we had conversation earlier, you said to me, if I had to say to the person that you were in 2022, I think,
2020.
that you were going to love farming, you were going to say absolutely no.
No, because I was a city girl. I was a city babe with the normal long size nails, and now you're getting me here with short nails because of the work I do. I wasn't going to believe you.
I hear that, but what made you fall in love with it? Was it the first time you walked onto the farm? Talk us through in it.
I feel like it's like I got there and I did not know what was going on. And I started learning about it, and I learned about the beauty of it. And my mom always would say, we're feeding the nation. We are feeding the nation. Have fun, enjoy this because you are feeding the nation. And I fell in love with that line, and I ended up just falling in love with animals and falling in love with farm life and the crops and everything. So
absolutely, that is so stunning. And obviously the line that your mom used is so inspiring. It literally gave me goosebumps, because if you know that you're feeding the nation, it's so easy to fall in love with your craft, you know. And at what age did you actually dabble into this? Because you're 19 now, so how long have you been in this farming industry?
I started, let's say, properly when I turned 18, when my parents involved me in the company. And then when I turned 19 last year, my parents just left me on the farm. One December, they just left me there. So I'd say properly when I was 19, but I started when I was 18.
Very interesting, very interesting. So how did you convince your parents that, listen, I want to be part of this? Give me a section to actually, I don't know if you are controlling the entire farm or owning the entire farm or the business of it. How did you convince your parents?
So I actually didn't convince them. I finished writing my finals last year. And then when I finished, I just went onto the farm to help, started getting involved. We were planting at the time, so I was learning, okay, this is how you plant this is how you plant this. And then one day my dad was just like, I'm out of here.
Wow.
You got this.
He saw the vision.
He saw
the vision.
And yeah, he left me there in the heart of the busiest time on the farm, and he was just like, you have this, and he left.
Wow. I actually really must say I must take your hat off for your dad for seeing the vision and leaving you in the most busiest time to just run everything. But obviously from there came a lot of challenges. So what are the different challenges that you have experienced, and how did you overcome it being on the farm?
We had quite a few challenges. One of the challenges so far was this year in February, there's a drought. There's been a drought in Mpumalanga from February. We still have it right now. So that has really affected the yields of my crops, of the crops on the farm and everything. So that's one of the challenges that we're currently dealing with as well. Another challenge that I dealt with was employees.
Really?
Employees is such a heavy one for me because now I'm 19. I'm working with people that are old enough to be my grandparents, old enough to be my parents, and now they have to take instructions from me. It was always like, who are you to give us instructions,
Absolutely.
you know? So I had to deal with employees, had to learn how to speak to people, had to deal with clients as well. Clients was a very special one.
I can imagine.
That was a very special one because now my dad left me there, so now there's new management. I set new rules in the business. And this one client came up to me and they're like, no, we're not going to deal with these new rules because we're used to your dad. So I had to deal with that as well. So it's been interesting. It's been very challenging, but it's been beautiful.
I can imagine, and based on everything that you're telling me, it's a lot of new challenges that people don't hear. If we hear from our other farmers, we keep on like learning the new challenges that you guys need to undergo, especially being young. It's things that completely fly over my head when I think about it, like having to deal with employees that are a little bit older than you, you know. One question that I have to ask though, being a young female farmer, how do you think the farming industry is taking the shift with male farmers and now with female farmers coming in? How do you think the male farmers are handling that? Have you experienced any challenges with that?
I wouldn't say I've experienced challenges, but I've experienced a little, what? You're into agriculture and you're a girl? And I feel like it's because like the agriculture space has been a very male dominant space for so long. And now females coming in is just a bit, I wouldn't say weird, but it's not normal for most people. But I feel like the industry is really accommodating this new shift. I feel like it's taking it in very well.
Absolutely.
And I'm loving it.
Absolutely. I must say it's female power and I'm here for it because it's very inspiring when I talk to the young female farmers and I see that, you know, the impact that you guys are making and how you guys are going after this thing relentlessly, regardless of all the challenges that come with it, you know. So on the farm, have you had any education in farming, or did you learn just through hand-on experiences?
So I have not obtained any education. It's always been me and my dad like this.
Wow.
Whatever he knows, he'll pass it on to
You're
me.
just there.
I'm always there just to grab in any gold nuggets that I can get from my dad, as well as honestly being on the farm and actually like being hands-on and learning as I go. I actually spoke to my dad about that and he told me that the lessons that you will keep the most are the lessons that you get through challenges.
Absolutely.
Those are the lessons that stay with you a lot.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That is very, very beautiful. And for everyone that is listening, they can actually take on that and think on that because it's very challenging coming into the farming industry, you know. So also with all of that challenges, how did you acquire access to things like capital and land and equipment for you to actually go forth with the farming industry?
Alright, so most of it was through my parents because they have been in the industry for 19 years this year. Yes, my dad has been in there independently for 19 years. And then another way that we've been able to get funding is through TWK. I'm not sure if you know TWK, where they give out loans and then you can go plant, spray, and then when you harvest, you pay them back.
Wow.
Yes.
You need to tell us more about that so that if we have young farmers listening, they know. So how did you reach out to them?
Mainly through my parents. They handle the small details of everything. I'm more of like on, you know, I'm hands-on there on the farm and then I do marketing and so forth.
Okay.
Yes.
That's so interesting. So just repeat the name.
It's TWK.
Okay. So they help you and then you just obviously have to pay them
You
back.
pay them back after you finish harvesting.
Oh, wow. So you acquired some equipment and some capital through
Some
them.
capital through them, yes.
Okay, that is absolutely lovely. And then tell me, you speak a lot about your dad, and obviously you did say he has an impact on you and with running the farm. Who is your role model in the farming industry, female or male? Tell me about them.
Right, I'd say, like you mentioned, my dad. My dad really affects, like he, not really affects, but influences most of the things that I do. He's changed the way I think. He's opened my mind up to things that I never thought of growing up. And also, it's not really a specific person, but something that motivates me in the farm business is we live in a place that's just full of farms. So like it's this farm, then another farm, then another farm.
Yes.
So looking at all these neighboring farms around me and how they have a place for chickens, now they have bales, now they have livestock, now they have this.
Absolutely.
Fowl crops, cash crops. It really pushes me to max out because I know that flip, man. That's multiple streams of income in one place. Because mostly in the farming industry, we have fowl crops and we have livestock. So, fowl crops you only harvest in winter, June, July, August. That's one source of income. But what are you doing for the rest of the year?
Absolutely.
You're looking at all these farms around us and you're like, okay, flip. They make money in December through their cash crops. They make money in June through their cash crops. They make money in June again with their fowl crops. And then they make money with their bales. They make money with their chickens. They make money with their livestock. So they have income throughout the year and not just seasonally. And that honestly just motivates me and pushes me so much. I need to obtain all these things.
Love
so
that.
I have multiple streams of income in one place.
That is absolutely beautiful, because if I can imagine for someone who's trying to join and you see all this competition around you, it can become so overwhelming and you think, okay, where do I start? Am I even gonna make an impact, And then speaking of, which shops do you actually supply to and how did you start to reach out to them? Give us the nitty-gritties on that.
I love this one. So currently I supply Spar and Pick and Pay and then local retailers as well. How I got to them is I woke up one morning and I was just like, I'm going to Spar in Secunda, in Balfour, in Heidelberg, and in Brakpan. Got in the car, took 10 pumpkins with me, and I'd go there. I'm looking for the manager of the fruits and vegetables aisle, and I'd go there. Hi, sir. My name is Scelo Simelane. I'm 19 from Balfour in Mpumalanga. I am selling Harvard squash. I am selling butternuts. I'm selling watermelon. This is my product. I promise you, I'll be able to supply you for 3 months straight, and the quality will remain the same.
Beautiful.
And yes, I did get quite a few rejections, but that's a part of the industry. But there are those few that did go through and stayed with them until my stock.
That is so beautiful, and it literally just takes initiative, because what's the worst that can happen? Just a no. Then you carry on to the next. That's very motivating, and I do take my hat off for you, because wow, I can imagine the determination that it takes. So Scelo, what advice would you give any young farmer who is trying to penetrate the market or just start out? Give them any advice.
The advice I'd give is have a child's mindset. I don't know how to explain this, but I went in thinking I know it all. I went in thinking I know business because I started my first business in 2019. So I've been in business for a good 3-4 years now, and now, okay, this is a new business that my dad is throwing me into. I know what I'm doing. This is small things. And I got there and I got the shock of my life. I got there and I was pushed to points that I did not know I could be pushed to. So when you get into the farming industry, just have a child's mindset. Be willing to learn. Be willing to be in awkward positions and try to get yourself out of those awkward positions in such a way that nobody notices that you are in an awkward position. All in all, just have a child's mindset.
Beautiful, lovely advice to maintain a child's mindset. It's absolutely beautiful, because then you're always teachable, And Scelo, if you, the younger version of you who was just starting out, was sitting right next to you, what advice would you give your younger version being where you are right now?
I tell younger Scelo to not be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to go into the unknown. And, because all of this was obtained through curiosity.
Absolutely.
I was curious. I went into the farm. I was curious. I started my own business. I was curious. I went to ask my dad, how do I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And I obtained that knowledge. I asked and I got seeds to start this business. I asked and, there was always a way to get what I needed, and I'm still asking right now. Currently, I'm looking into getting greenhouses, because I don't want to supply stores during winter and summer anymore. I don't want to supply stores for 3 months. I want to supply throughout the year. So now I'm currently in the process of reaching out to companies. I'm looking for greenhouses and irrigation systems so I can supply throughout the year. So one thing I tell baby Scelo, It's just ask.
Love that. Ask and you shall receive.
Exactly.
Love that. Absolutely. And that is the foundation of everything, you know. And speaking back on things like you're saying, you are still asking, and this is definitely the platform. So if you were to ask anyone for any type of support, whether it's the business, you name it, girl, for Greenhouse, you said that you needed help with, please go ahead, ask. What would you ask and what support would you appreciate?
So what I would ask for is, right now I'm currently in the process of getting greenhouses. So with these greenhouses, I checked markets. I found Go Hydro as well as Afrimat. These are greenhouses. And then irrigation systems. I've been able to make my own irrigation system. I just need the equipment to actually put everything together and actually start. So I need pumps and as well as water pipes. So right now, my biggest ask is just, I actually did a pitch yesterday for this with one company, and I asked them for 150,000 Rand, 95,000 going towards the greenhouse by Afrimat, 10,000 going towards labor, another 10,000 towards the watering system, another 10 going towards actually obtaining information, because I want to educate myself on greenhouses before I go into this new industry. Yes, so I actually checked Stellenbosch University has a greenhouse producers course.
That's amazing.
Yes. So I actually really want to get this course from Stellenbosch University so I can educate myself on this industry and prepare the way for me to go into greenhouse farming.
Absolutely. The beautiful thing about you is I can pick it up. You're always in a state of learning. You're willing to learn. You said you were curious, and that's how you came this far where you are now. And I think for anyone and any young farmer that is out there, understand the importance of remaining curious, remaining teachable, like you said, because you are doing phenomenal things, only being 19 and penetrating the market, you know. So you are supplying to Spa, you said. If there was one dream store that you'd love your farm to supply to, which store would it be?
Definitely Woolworths. Definitely Woolworths, because
everybody's just like, Woolies, please. Woolies, if you are watching, please come on. Come and get Scelo's supply.
Woolworths, when I tell you, my product is the type of product that I supply to you, and you put it on your shelves.
Love that, absolutely.
Yeah, so Woolworths is one brand that I'd really love to work with, because I feel like my quality products, and on top of that, all my produce is organic. I don't use any weird fertilizers.
Beautiful.
I literally take manure from my corrals and I put them inside of my fields.
Oh, nice.
So everything is organic, it's healthy. We are feeding the nation clean, chemical-free food.
And it's something we need, because we are struggling. We are struggling as a nation, obviously with demand and supply, but our products aren't producing best quality like we had 20, 30 years ago, and it's having such negative effects on our bodies. So Woolies, please.
And also Radisson Hotel.
There we go.
Radisson Hotel, just throwing it out there. If you guys need fresh produce, I have some really good quality fresh produce.
You guys will not regret it. And then Scelo, if you had to choose one farm animal as a pet, what would you choose?
I definitely choose the American Brahman.
Really?
It is so peaceful. The American Brahman is so friendly. They are so peaceful. I had one in December before they bought it. I'm not okay. I was so obsessed. So I had this one American Brahman. I'd actually go out and play with him. He was so friendly. And it's like every single Brahman that I've had, they are so friendly.
Wow,
so
that is
definitely,
so interesting.
without a doubt, the American Brahman.
I think I would take the understanding that let me not name these animals, because once someone buys them, like my heart, I wouldn't be able to. So I completely understand. Scelo, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. It was so lovely having you. I just want to open up the floor one more time for you to say anything to someone who is just starting out, who is fresh in this thing, and who really just wants to gain some motivation. So the floor is yours, and please do motivate them.
So thank you so much for having me. One piece of advice I give somebody that's trying to enter the market is ask and it shall be given unto you. Don't limit yourself. Go up there, approach those people, approach those brands, reach out, and it will be given unto you. And don't forget that you can do anything and everything you set your mind to. I have been in this space for a good 5 months independently right now, and I've seen the craziest things happen because I know that I can do anything and everything I put my mind to.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you so, so much. So for anyone out there, put your mind to it because you can achieve it. Everything is attainable when we put our mind to it, especially when we're so young. I always say we gravitate everything we want, especially in this age. So I do take my hat off for you. And then Scelo, for anyone who's trying to make contact with you, reach out professionally and also just for advice, where can we get a hold of you?
Okay, you guys can get a hold of me on Instagram. My handle is I am Scelo Simelane. I am Scelo Simelane on TikTok and Facebook as well.
Lovely. Do you have maybe an email address so if Woolies wants to tap in, they can get a hold of you there? What's your email address?
My email address is scelosimelane7@gmail.com.
So Scelo, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Your story is so inspirational and I do know that you inspired a lot of young farmers who is about to take that next step. So continue feeding the nation and doing the amazing job that you are. And to our audience, thank you so much for joining in. Remember, if you have any questions for Scelo, please do reach out. I'm your host, Tashlyn Lowe, and until we meet next time, bye.